Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Johnson Bean is about to come on and rock your world, really having you expand your vision of what's possible in life. Before we get to that, we are going to be talking about the sponsorship message, which is the 21-day challenge. If you're an entrepreneur or high achiever, you're tuning into this, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're stuck, you're lost, you just want more clarity, you want to light a fire under your ass so you can be your greatest possible self, then send me a message, chris@beyourgps.com, or find me on Facebook and let me know you're ready for the 21-day challenge. 21 days of blazing accountability, one-on-one, and breaking through all that BS, leaving it behind so you can step into your GPS. Looking forward to talking to you about your 21-day challenge. Next up is going to be the iTunes review of the week, and this week it's by Sophia. Sophia Wise 1. Sophia says, inspiration. That's the deal. Reminding me what's possible. Keeping us on track. Thank you. Thanks so much, Sophia. I appreciate you. If you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes store. And while you're there, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the show on YouTube, on iTunes, wherever you find us. Keep tuning in and give us your feedback. Let us know what you love, what you want to see more of, how we can improve and grow and make this an even better show for you. Thanks so much in advance for doing that. Now, Thomas Johnson Bean is about to come on in a second here. Before that, make sure you grab a pen, grab a paper, be ready to take notes because this guy has some incredible life wisdom and he's empowering people to create that freedom, to create that life by design, financial freedom, life freedom, meaning and purpose, and having that stability, that foundation to really grow into their GPS with. And you're going to learn a ton with this conversation. So make sure you stay tuned all the way through the end because you never know what one idea can transform the rest of your life. Let's introduce him and then we'll bring him on. Thomas Johnson Bean is the founder and president of the L.I.F.E Group. L.I.F.E stands for Legacy, Insurance, and Financial Education, as well as an avid investor and entrepreneur. He began his career as an insurance agent while still in his junior year at Davidson College. As an advisor, he received numerous awards and hit industry milestones, but his most significant achievements are the countless advisors he's coached to produce at higher levels and what he is best known for, the relationships he's built with his family of clients. Thomas grew in his career from insurance agent to financial advisor to what he firmly believes should be the ultimate goal of every advisor, becoming a life coach, L.I.F.E coach, establishing relationships with clients, the growth and development of their financial well-being, and understanding what they desire to achieve in their lifetime is essential to moving beyond survival mode, the day-to-day obligations of life, to focusing on thriving and creating multi-generational opportunities. And we are blessed to have him here with us today. Thomas, are you ready to rock this, brother?
I am. Thank you for having me on. I know you've had a full day already.
That's right, man. We're just getting started. We are just getting started, bro.
Thank you so much. The energy that you have, man, it makes me enthusiastic.
Yes,
I appreciate you for having me.
I love it. Absolutely. It's a blessing to have you here, man. We're going to have a lot of fun, great value for the audience and people tuning in. So let's dive right into the question of the day, which today is how to fly, how to first love yourself. So Thomas, how does this concept of first loving yourself, how does that show up for you in your life, brother?
I think time. The first thing I think about when I think about love is time. Anything that you spend time with, obviously you have affection for it. You spend time with yourself, getting to know yourself and bettering yourself, understanding who you are. I think there's so many layers to each of us. And if we were just to peel back the layers that society kind of implants in us early on in life, then we'll get who we are. Sadly, some people never discover that.
Wow.
A lot of folks go through life letting other individuals and societal standards dictate what they should do. You can never know yourself if you're being led by anything other than God. So until you kind of come into your own and say, I want to spend some time with myself, with God, really, really understanding what I want out of life.
Yeah.
Love yourself. So,
wow. Yeah. That's powerful, man. Powerful. And I love how it's time. You start off with that like kind of eternal aspect of time, this thing that so many people grapple with in their life. And it's oftentimes it is the master and people are the slaves, right? Time is that wheel that people are on, the hamster wheel of, oh, I'm running out of time. There's not enough. This time, not enough.
So what's funny about that is the last chapter of my book, Life Years. The last chapter is about legacy, and I start off talking about, or the second to last chapter is about legacy. I start off talking about the fallacy that you don't have enough time. It's the most abundant thing that we have, right? Because one lifetime is all you know. You spend it always feeling like you're on that hamster wheel and you're running out, which most people do. To your point, it feels like it's the tragic sense that it can never be enough, and you can't do enough. You're always running out of a time in the day. You're never accomplishing enough. I think if you just settle into the fact that your life is unique being, you have tremendous opportunity, and the God that we serve has given you more than enough time to do everything that you're called to do. Like, just think about how powerful a statement that is. So when it comes to building a legacy, I tell people a lot in my consulting business and in financial practice, you're building something that once you pass away can be left. Building something while you're alive. And people need to understand that the time that they spend doing the certain things that they want to do and cultivating relationships and all the other businesses and wealth generation, anything that you can think of, happiness, it comes with that limited amount of time. Actually abundant. Right? So that's the way I've always thought about it.
That's awesome, man. That's impressive. I know for me, it took like a lot of work just to feel like I wasn't on that hamster wheel. I really relate to people who are constantly feeling that time scarcity, because I was out to achieve more and do more, and like I was never enough. I was trying to fill myself up through external achievement. It don't work.
It doesn't. There are huge gaps in my 20s where I don't even know what happened, because I was chasing the almighty dollar so hard, fast, that I back and I say, well, I don't remember my life during this period because I was just going after a bonus check. Or I don't remember what I was doing because I was just trying to qualify for a convention or qualify for some type of trip. So you have 3 months, 6 months of your life is just gone. And the people who I think we can look at most and say they really appreciate time are monks, right? They wake up early. They appreciate meditation throughout the day. They understand who they are outside of what the world is imposing on them and who they should be. Appreciate every single day to the fullest, right? So it's interesting that you say that, because I've literally watched my life and other people's lives, chunks just go out the window, chasing things that are temporary. And time you can't get back.
So good. So good. So Thomas, this is deep. I know we got people commenting. Love this thinking about time. The more you do rushing about, the time just goes. The more you do just rushing about, the time just goes. And I love this. I love this. This is great. So for people who are just getting connected with you, Thomas, why don't you share a little bit more about who you are and how you serve your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, I used to be a financial advisor. Into my license, all of them. I had a Series 7, 6, 63, and a 6. Everything in the fall of last year. Reason being is because I wanted to write a book about the 14 years that I had spent as a financial advisor. The things that I had done wrong, the things that I saw in the industry that were going wrong. And after 14 years, I felt, finally, I was convicted enough, I felt mature enough in my practice to say, this is what it should be, rather than looking at what I was still learning.
Right.
Decided to step out on faith, built my own firm. The firm has been going strong for about 2.5 years, called the Legacy Insurance Financial Education. Veered away from being a financial planning firm and decided to become a consulting firm. The branding made sense, who we are as a firm, what we're trying to do for our clients, how we're getting them to the next level. Makes far more sense, and we're too robust a firm to just call ourselves financial planning. What I also learned in that 14-year stint in my career is that entrepreneurship is a necessity. When we talk about building, we talk about utilizing your time, the flexibility, the freedom, financial freedom, building equity. I know a lot of people look at it and they say, well, I don't have to leave my job, and I'm okay with that. But intrapreneurship, it matters too.
Yeah.
So whether entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship, one of the mottos of my company is hashtag build your own.
Mm.
And we're consistently pressing on people to build as many possible income streams without putting their time on the line to do so.
Mm.
And that's why we consult, because it's not just about taking care of things like a 401k or life insurance or group benefits. We really want people to understand you can live the life you want, but you can't live it if you're constrained to any certain contract or you're within the parameters of anybody else's organization. Because that's not what you're born to do. So even if you're passionate about it, there's something else that you were naturally born to do that you can build.
Mm. That's powerful. I love it, man. I love it. So it's like you went through that phase of just being an insurance agent, so to speak, an insurance
Right.
advisor, and you were doing that, and you're like, there's something bigger. We do something way bigger than just insurance. And you moved into more consulting, more life advising, leaving a legacy, that entrepreneurial mindset and tendencies to think outside of the box. How can you create real wealth, generational wealth? And it's like so much more fulfilling than just covering the
So
downside, so to speak, of insurance.
Because it hurt.
Yeah.
Like I was meeting people who had all these financial woes, and as a financial advisor, you're consulting people two extremes. One, they either have money already or they don't have money. And where's the middle ground of people who have high income and they're trying to put money aside? It just hurt because you saw so many people were unsuccessful. And I was doing retirement advising for a long time. I was meeting people when they were nearing that retirement transition, and that was what they thought was the pinnacle of life. They met their obligations in the working world and getting out. And I would tell them, I say, you now have more experience than you've ever had in life. You have more money than you've ever had in life, and you're going to stop your momentum and play golf. It didn't make sense. So if the only thing that I can do is consult you about how to roll over your 401k, your IRA, or talk to you about your finances, I'm limiting the capacity in which I can help you thrive in life. You still got another 30, 40 years to make an impact. And these years that you have when you know the most about the impact that you can make. So I kept going back and forth with this thing. I was like, why am I a financial advisor? Why am I putting myself in a place where I'm being paid to tell people about something within certain parameters that they can only do the investments versus living their actual life in a more robust way. So becoming a life coach, talking to people about their finances, but their lifestyle, life goals, their life goals, their legacy, what that entails, what it looks like. It just felt so much bigger in terms of my life purpose.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, Thomas. It's incredible because at the 65-year-old age, when we're sold the dream of work really hard for 40 years, whatever, 40 plus years, and then you get to retire and then quote unquote enjoy it, right? And enjoy your time off. And it's like you shouldn't have to slave for that time and then finally feel free. You should you deserve to feel free and creative and fulfilled in your purpose every year of your life from start to finish. We just aren't taught to think like that, you know?
Live the life you want.
Yeah. Man.
Menacing. I was just talking to my business partner the other night, and we were talking about somebody who is in corporate America, wants to venture on his own, afraid of doing it, but the pressure is racking up on him. And I reminded her, I said, Monday morning is when the majority of heart attacks are in this nation. And there's a good reason for that.
Wow.
Living the lives they truly lives for others. So they feel oppressed. They try to release over the weekend. And then when it comes time to get back to work, they have all of this gunk building up inside of them. It's poisoning our bodies. It's hurting who we are as people. It's hurting who we are as philanthropists. People aren't giving back as much when they're not happy with what they're doing in life. I want people to be charitable, feel good about building their families, building their legacies, things that they're obligated to do, take care of their responsibilities. But what do you really want to do? in life outside of just paying bills and looking forward to 35 years from now when you can retire.
Yeah. And it's like the biggest misconception or missold dream, so to speak. It's like
Mm-hmm.
really all we have is this present moment. We could be gone tomorrow. So let's make sure we take full use and full advantage of the moment and be kind, be joyous, be loving, be, the
Right.
greatest human being, our greatest possible self that we can be. And, Thomas, I want to go back in your journey because like you have this amazing business now and you're helping so many people and coaching so many people and helping them experience that true legacy and building that, living it and building it right now. What was it like when you were first starting out on your journey? Like what would you say is the biggest ways that you've grown in your
Yeah.
paradigm and how you show up and how you see the world in the last, 10 to 15 years or so?
So huge paradigm shift. Started right out of college, broke in college,
Mm,
out, went into 100% commission field. So as
mm,
an insurance agent, with no base salary, every single day, driving 2, 3 hours outside of where I lived, away, having to come back, and pretty much making only enough to keep gas in the car.
mm,
Everything was about money. Though. I was money motivated. I'm going to make it in this industry. I'm going to hit these high, commission payouts, these grids. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then I started seeing after I was in it for a few years on this hamster wheel,
yep.
started seeing the claims come in, death benefit checks, people going on long-term care claims, going into nursing homes. Started seeing what it was that we really did for
Mm,
people, how we protected them. We started delivering checks to the next generation and looking in people's eyes, and they're saying, "This isn't enough money." Um, that hurts because I've never delivered a death benefit check where somebody said, "This is too much. What are we going to do with all this?" So it started making sense that my duty, my call in life, served a much higher purpose with
mm,
intentionality than just uh, making a commission,
mm,
you know, changing lives. And that was where Life Changers started. Why the series of all of my books is going to be Life Changers, because I think when we're walking in our calling, when we know our higher purpose, that's ultimately what we've been called to do in life, whether it's discipleship, whether it's leading people, healing people, motivating people, inspiring people, empowering people, all of these things, changing people's lives. If your day to day job does not do that, then you can't be truly passionate about it,
mm,
my personal opinion.
yeah.
The way that I think I'm trying to help people build their own is to affect positive change in the lives of others. Now, with that being said, a few years in, I was also diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So I lost 50 pounds in about 2 months and I almost died.
Wow.
During that time, I couldn't work. I was draining down all of my savings. I had just built a new house, just bought my first kind of luxury car. Payments were due.
Mm,
And then I started realizing like all of this stuff. I had a Rolex watch. I was balling out of control. And it didn't matter. None of it mattered. And so I started pulling back from all of that stuff, the materialism of life. And that's when I truly, on top of the legacy piece and understanding what I was called to do, I truly just stopped wanting so much stuff.
mm,
I'm not sure if you ever read the book Essentialism, but having less really is more in
mm,
life. And so one of the principles that I talk to people about, if you're not doing what you want in life, but you're living high on the hog, it doesn't make any sense because you're discounting everything that you could be living for. The most important thing is your happiness.
mm,
Just you can get a paycheck and afford things. So the first kind of leg of our consulting, we started talking about something that most people don't really want to do, which is understanding the lifestyle that you lead and what actually makes you happy. Let's talk about the reality of what gives you fulfillment versus what you're doing day in and day out and paying for and working for.
mm,
And once that thing clicks, once we know exactly what a person wants to do, there's so much good, like just real meat that comes from that. And that's where it really shaped my life.
mm,
I didn't care about having a nice car. or the nicest car, the biggest car. I didn't care about having the nicest house. I didn't care about having the nicest watches. What I cared about is what I did day in and day out, whether I was happy with who I was helping,
Mm.
I was doing with, and how it's going to be remembered. Things matter. And, huge paradigm shift in my 20s, but a lot of ups and downs to go with.
Yeah. And it sounds like you really got confronted with the meaning of life for you at that point was about the external things, was about the cars and the luxury. And when you're confronted with, like I could potentially have days or hours left to live. What's important to me now? What
Right.
is really meaningful to me? You start to reprioritize, you start to shift your focus and redefine what is the meaning of life, and what do you wish you had more of? What experiences do you wish you could have created and cultivated? And probably legacy is super big for you, so you probably recognize, man, what am I leaving behind? What is
Right.
living
Like
on after me?
the stuff that I was doing, the stuff that I was paying for, it's all going to fade away.
Hmm.
Like when I realized that, it was like, well, one, who am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Who am I living this life for? Because it wasn't. I think the facade is what kills the lives that we
Yeah.
all.
Wow.
And we understand that, and it takes some introspection. It takes some time. Once again, some self love, um, to really dive in, to dig deep and say, I genuinely care about X.
Hmm.
All the whys need to be on the back burner. I'm not saying that you can't have a great home, can't have luxury car, can't have nice things, but you really have to measure those things up with what that money could be spent on, what you could be doing, who you could be impacting. And we live in a world where so many people are going after things that they've been taught creates happiness.
Hmm.
Until I was almost dying, that I understood how spiritually unfulfilled I was by all these things, because at 24, 25, you're laying in bed, you think you're going to die. It didn't matter who I left my cards to, right? They didn't care about that. I didn't care about it.
Hmm.
So that's what I really want to pull out of people with my firm, with my daily intention. What really matters? And let's stay in that vein.
Hmm. Man, I love it. I love it, Thomas. So let's start diving into the foundation and the principles of what you teach people. Like, where do we really
Sure.
begin to start living that life, leaving that legacy, understanding financial education, understanding insurance?
Number one thing is saving money.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter how much you invest. You could invest $10,000 today and the market tank tomorrow. That's $10,000 gone.
Yep.
Put money in your savings, in your checkings account, in your mattress.
Hmm.
Just have money for the sake of securing capital.
Hmm.
I know that's not popular advice. It's not even advice as a financial advisor, because I was so motivated by getting people into the market at one point in my career that most advisors don't even give. They talk about 3 months worth of savings. Well, 3 months is nothing. One emergency can wipe out 3 months worth of savings like that. Here we are. 6 months worth of savings. Well, you're doing a little bit better, but when you really start getting into the habit of saving money just for the sake of having money saved, you're doing extraordinary. Because, so looking at things day in and day out, you're teaching yourself the habit of being happy with being financially secure and not needing things to make you happy. So you're changing everything. You're basically transforming everything about the mindset that you probably grew up with in America. Once we do that, the place change. Everything shifts. You are no longer a victim or imprisoned by this mindset that you have to have more. And the opportunities that you start to have, the opportunities that you start to notice once you have capital in reserves, it changes the entire playing field. That's the first principle.
I'm curious, real quick, Thomas, do you recommend any specific money saving practice or behavior, or touching it tangibly, putting it in a specific type of savings account? Do you recommend online? You mentioned under your mattress, in person, having it handy? Tell us a little bit more detail specifically about how.
Until you're well versed enough in the art of saving that you can look at your money, it needs you need to have automatic withdrawals from your check, 401k. One of the things that hinders so many people early on in their careers, they're packing all this money in their 401ks because they've been told this is how you build a retirement. Well, what happens when you're 55? What happens when you're 45? What happens when you're 35? Money in a place that you can't get to without hardship penalties and taxation. And what if you do want to go out of business? You can't access that capital. If you do access it, it's entirely taxed. So allow yourself to get paid. Allow what you get paid to have certain thresholds, whatever, based on your lifestyle is taken out. I would say if you can save 30 to 40% of your income, for most Americans, like, man, he doesn't want me to live, right? But just think about how good a life you have. You're saving that kind of money, and you learn to adopt a lifestyle that says, I don't need to live off of so much. One of the things I tell people all the time is that the reason that so many retirees are going into bankruptcy, the number one demographic that's going into bankruptcy right now are people who are retired, which doesn't make any sense because they have Social Security, they have Medicaid, they have all these safety nets. They have the pensions, they have anything that you can think of that our generation is not going to have. So if they're retiring, being told to live off of only 80 to 70% of their income, but their Social Security check is only taking care of maybe about 15 to 20% of their living expenses, then what do we have to look forward to? So if we can start living off of a lot less right now and saving, not just investing, but just learning the beauty of a simple life. Unless you're making a significant amount of income, most people in America, because they're financing everything, you actually can't afford almost anything that you have. And I try to beat that drum as hard as I can without making people feel bad about what they want. But the facts are, we've been sold since the day we were born to want things that we don't have to pay money for. So very different when you're paying cash for something. You pay cash for a car. You pay cash for a house. Well, then you start to understand its value. If I put $500 down and I get a $200,000 home, I don't know the value of that home. Put $1,000 down, you get a $60,000 car. No wonder you're willing to trade it back in for an $80,000 car. Down in the vehicle, because you don't really know the value of this stuff. You save more money, you start paying things in cash and seeing where your money is going. It's a different lifestyle. It's actually a more fulfilling and peaceful lifestyle.
It's not as fast, right? You have to be patient. You have to have
not a microwave. Yeah, it's not a microwave. It's an oven. It's an oven. Easy to make, and it's not a popular message, but it's the Warren Buffett strategy, right? It's necessarily the Elon Musk, right? Or the Mark Zuckerberg. It's okay. I'm 23 and I'm a multi-billionaire. It's playing for the long haul, which comes to multi-generational wealth, because everybody's not going to be able to hit it quick. Majority of us, we have to save more money. The majority of us, we have to look at what we're passionate about and building other income streams. Make sure that we augment what we're getting from our normal paycheck. We can pull ourselves out of our normal paycheck to start doing things that allow us to have equity in our own business. Then we're going to be better off.
Powerful, man. So number one, definitely that saving, having systems that automatically do it for us till we can build that own habit for ourselves and make sure that we have the self-discipline to not touch it or go spend it. Just let it do itself. Cool.
And you know what? There's so many programs with it. That's what's awesome about nowadays, right? We're in the age of the robo-advisors. We're in the age of automation and everything. You can achieve anything that you want in life as long as you say, this is what I want. And nothing's stopping you. But if you say, I can't do it or I don't want to do it because you have a certain lifestyle that you're being kind of forced into because of peer pressure and other things,
Hmm.
then where are you going to be 15 years from now?
Yeah. Hmm. Not somewhere we want to be. So that's number one is savings. Tell us what number two is, Thomas.
Build your own.
Hmm.
I talk about it nonstop, ad nauseum, and I don't think it's a conversation that needs to be strayed away from.
Hmm.
Whatever you feel like doing in this life, whatever you are living a purpose driven life, right? Um, it's necessary in the one life that you have. You know, the name of this segment. This is not your practice life, right?
Hmm.
It's not practice. You don't get a redo.
Hmm.
When we talk about people in retirement or people on their deathbed coming into their last days saying, I have these regrets. Well, early on enough, we should know there's nothing that you have to regret if you go after your life full force. You know, Eric Thomas talks about giving 120%. I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's living in what you want to do and how you want to do it. Now, if you want a certain lifestyle, then there's other things that you may have to give up to happen. You know, there's nothing worse. I see a lot of people now who see the Instagram thing
Mm-hmm.
and people traveling all the time, people going out all the time, people who have nice cars, big homes, and it almost seems like they're doing nothing for it.
Hmm.
They see beautiful families, big weddings, and so a person can come out of college thinking, "Well, this is my life." It's not your life because you haven't earned that,
Hmm.
right? You haven't done anything for all that. And if you think that's supposed to be your life, then either you have to go out and earn it or you have to give up some certain things, not sacrifice, but prioritize
Hmm.
things to create that lifestyle.
I'm curious, what's your distinction between sacrifice and give up? Because I know we have a difference of what those mean in burn-up coaching too.
So here's the thing. There's no such thing in my consulting. There's no such thing as a sacrifice if you're going after what you want.
Hmm.
I don't think that the Olympic athlete is making a sacrifice for 4 years to get to the Olympics
Hmm.
because that's where they want to be,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if you tell me where you want to be in life, and I tell you you have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out to get there,
Mm-hmm.
you're making a sacrifice. No, because it's what you want.
Right.
Now, if I'm making you make a sacrifice for something that I want for you, then yeah, it's a true to form sacrifice,
Right.
right? You're giving it. It's in marriage they call it compromise, right? But it really is. You're saying, okay, I'm going to give up my desires because I love you. I want you. But even then, we're toting that fine line because is it really a sacrifice if the ultimate goal is being achieved, which is another happiness for somebody that you love getting further along in life? So I use that word sparingly because I think it's been saturated in the market with this idea that you got to make sacrifices to succeed. Well, if you have success, how many sacrifices do you really make? The goal was success.
Right.
You did was succeed. Stop saying that you made sacrifices to have success, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So sacrifice has a connotation of losing, right? Like I sacrifice,
Right.
I give away something that I value, and like for something of lesser value, or to suffer, to endure in the intention of getting something back later, or to be
the best example of it.
Yeah.
Christ sacrificed himself on the cross.
No.
I don't think that my Savior sacrificed himself, right?
Right.
He didn't sacrifice himself. He went to the cross willingly.
Yeah.
Even though he was crying tears of blood before doing so, he went because he knew how many lives it would save. And if he came down, he started pointing his finger in our faces and saying, I died for you. What's wrong with you? Why are you living like this? I sacrificed myself. Like, that's not the Christ that we, celebrate. That's not the way I think about Christ going about his life, right? Or the rapture is not going to look like that in my mind. We got to get away from this idea that, okay, I'm going to do this, and I have this like quiet brooding and resentment towards doing it because I'm not getting what I want. No, he shed his blood so that we can all have, our sins taken through the blood of Christ. We are waking up early in the morning because we have goals that we want to achieve.
Yep.
We are going, early. We're drinking water every day, gallon of water. We're working out. We're doing all these things because we want to achieve X.
Yeah.
So giving up Y is not a sacrifice.
Right. It's the price we must pay to receive
Period.
the result, right? To give up
Right.
something of lesser value, aka comfort, sleeping in, the quick thrill, going out on the weekends, bars, whatever it is, for something that's more long lasting, long term, valuable, eternal.
If at the end of the day, I tell you that you can live the way Bill Gates is living right now, if you were to change certain behaviors. If you looked at me and said, those are sacrifices that I have to make, well, then you've misunderstood the entire idea.
Wow.
Context. Ultimate goal, whether it's wealth, where you can have the body of Serena Williams, or you can have whatever it is, right? You're gonna have to hit the gym. You can have the Tiger Woods. You're gonna have to hit the golf course a lot. Telling me that the liquor or the money that you can spend going out, or the late nights, that's worth having the ability to have the life that you truly want. There's a different thing about it.
Dude, so powerful. I love it, man. This is gold. So what's the next thing we really need to know, Thomas?
So outside of saving, outside of building your own, the next thing is telling a business owner. It's so very hard to get people to be on board with this early on in life, because we always say it, the wealthiest among us, they're thinking multi-generational. And the people who probably don't have abundance of resources, they're thinking towards the weekend. They're thinking for tomorrow, right? To get a person to think about how they're going to be remembered 100 years from now, to get a person to start living in such a way to say, 150 years, if I were still alive, 150 years in the future, if I was still alive, and I had my great, 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 whatever grandchild sitting in my lap, I need to have the same pride in the life that I live now, I would have if I thought I was going to be alive and that child was on my lap. Yeah. And if you're not living that way, then you don't truly care about the legacy that you're living. And you can't that somebody who goes out and gets plastered every single weekend has any thought towards 150 years from now, if they're looking in their grandchild's eyes and saying, hey, I built this so that you can have a better life. Right? So I'm making a business owner, a person who is thinking about their legacy, think about it strategically in a way that says, hey, this decision that you're making, whether it's life insurance, finances, how you go about your business practices. There are people right now with a lot of gimmicks and a lot of easy money schemes. Was that how you want your business to be remembered? Was that how you want to build it for the long haul? If you plan on being around for a long time, you might as well build something that is sustainable. Yeah. And if you don't plan on being in it for a long time, then you're probably creating some type of scam or something to get rich quick. You don't really care about the customer. You don't care about changing people's lives. You don't care about doing any of the things that you probably would care about if the shoe were on the other foot and you had to patronize a business that was thinking that way. Right? Yeah. So start thinking for the long haul. That's really one of the important things.
What do you think is it that makes a organization or business stand the test of time? And what are you putting in place with your company that you feel is going to have the longevity and the legacy?
You got to put in first of all group benefits. How you take care of people. It speaks volumes. Even how you take care of yourself. Yeah. There's so many solopreneurs out here who they run themselves ragged. They don't work out because they just don't have the time. They don't have a great diet because it takes too much time to prepare food. I have a health and wellness coach, Coach D, Darnell Allen, on our team. And before I ever get up in a seminar and speak, he speaks before me. because I want people to understand that the most important thing to do is take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Take care of the people that are in your business. You start doing that, and everything changes.
Mm.
And if you have that opportunity, it creates not only more conviction, more passion, more energy within your organization. You're also giving people an outlet to understand what they when you're empowering them so that they can build their own. They're seeing what you're building. You're giving them the flexibility to say, I know you're passionate about something. So their creative juices are flowing while they're in your business.
Yeah.
You're giving them some freedom to say, go and do your business, like create what you truly care about. It's an alignment. Let's partner instead of you being just my employee.
Mm.
So much there, right? So much meat there that is being missed out on because people are treating their employees like they don't care about them. Treat everybody like a person.
Yeah.
And some wonderful things can happen.
Yeah. Brothers and sisters, like treat them like your family, treat them how you would want to be treated. Like the speak life into their dreams, into their greatness.
I've been in organizations, it's sad to say, but where people have treated grown adults like children.
Mm.
Bathroom times, bathroom breaks, breaks that are so rigid, um, maternity leave. I mean, these things that we impose on human beings, we take them out of being humans into being robots.
Mm.
It's like, is that truly how an organization thrives? That's not how an individual can thrive. It's not how a company can thrive. It's not how any group can thrive.
Mm.
You have to know that people are in it together and they're willing to truly have a team.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah, man. So good. And then I want to switch gears and talk about your books. Like, what was the inspiration to write those? Is that's like a huge part of something that really sets you apart. It's the entrepreneurial aspect of you, I feel, coming to life.
So I've got the first book is Life Changers: 4 True Lies About Your Money. Second book that's coming out is Life Changers: The Entrepreneur's Retirement Blueprint.
Mm.
So everything that we're talking about right now, everything we're talking about in terms of legacy planning, building your own business, what it looks like to contemplate retirement as an entrepreneur, which most entrepreneurs don't really think about, the opportunities to sell your business, what it would look like to start winding down your business if you decided that you're of an age where you want to transition out of it or give it to a child or what have you. Then I wrote another book, kind of a personal book, about my life. Having a business called Successful Regardless, and that book is based on the first basically 30 years of my life. The title is Cracked but Not Broken, and it goes over relationships. It goes over trials, hardships, overcoming battles, how to have the mental fortitude to keep going no matter what you're up against in life. Writing is really my passion. So if you go look me up on Instagram at Thomas J Bean, you'll see every one of them. I have a few pictures, but most of it is just captions. Capture really what life is about. I want to be remembered not as a person who kind of took popping pictures, but somebody whose thoughts were known in this life. And I always think about the Napoleon Hills and Warren Buffett's and individual Tony Robbins, even individuals who are leaving thick volumes of their thought process. Ray Dalio,
Yep.
Right? Just they're leaving what they've been through. And if we don't get that process started early on, then we may end up with a lot less to leave behind as a legacy. So those are the books, the Life Changers series. I wanted to change every life that picks those books up and reads them. And we're gonna keep doing that. We're gonna keep dropping probably 2 or 3 books a year.
That's awesome, dude. You're on fire. It's so incredible.
I love what I do, man. I love the consulting. I love the writing. I love impacting people's lives for the better.
Wow, it's incredible. It's incredible, man. What would you say is the what you want to show up, how you want to show up for your team. How do you show up as an aligned, congruent, powerful leader for your team? Like what's the mindset you bring when you step in front of them, when you're communicating with them, when you're leading them? How do you show up, man?
So the very first chapter in the book Successful Regardless, Cracked or Not Broken is be who you say you are.
Mm.
Alignment has a lot to do with wearing your truth.
Yeah.
And being the same person privately that you are publicly.
Amen.
Sadly, we're now in a world where that just doesn't happen all that much. People are privately very different. In their personal lives, they can be privately different to their loved ones, people they've committed their entire lives to. We just see a lot of the facades and the role playing going on. I'm just big on authenticity. I'm big on if we can grow together as an organization, that matters so much more to me than short-term profits. If the people in that room know that the things that are coming out of my mouth as they relate to our customers and our clients are equally as important as the things that I'm telling them that I'm living, the principles that I follow, the things that I hope each and every one of them is being held accountable to, not just by me, but in their personal lives as well, then that matters. And if I can show up that way and feel confident, then they know that as they're expanding and they're giving other people kind of the commercial for our organization, then they can be behind it, 100%. But there's flaws in that. They like, man, he's saying these things, but I just saw him go out and spend a ton of money doing something reckless or buying big cars and whatnot. Like, I'm not living those principles. Nothing wrong with big cars, once again, but I want to show up for my organization and show them that I care about things that are everlasting, long term. We just had our meeting and I busted out some thick books and I said, this is what our organization's about. I could care less about the short term. Hey, we're running, Facebook ads and sponsored ads and all this stuff to gain traffic and whatnot like that. Those are the gimmicks. Those are the short term things. I want people to come to our organization and say, I'm paying you money to help me out because I know what you stand for. I know the integrity of your organization. And that does start with me.
Yeah.
It flows through everybody who represents us.
Dude, that's powerful. And it's like really be the leader. You got to exemplify the values that you want to see in the people around you. And you also attract who you are, right? So if you want to attract that team who's being in integrity, who's out there performing, who's out there, living the values, living the culture, then it really starts at the epicenter, aka me, aka you, aka the person who's leading the company.
Nobody who's ever helped somebody build something, it's integrity, sticks around. You just don't. No matter how much you like the person, you know that what they're building is shoddy, and it's going to crumble one day. Be a part of it when it does. I don't want people who say, "Hey, I want to have a great run with you," and then leave. I want everybody that I build with. One of the things I told a recent business partner, I said, I should be able to hire somebody or partner with them on a Friday. If they get sick the entire next week, I shouldn't want to go back and think about ending the relationship or firing them because all of a sudden they weren't there on Monday.
Right.
Like, get around people that you want to be with, not just now, but next year and the year after. Get around good energy. True to yourself, and you're true to them about helping them grow and helping them develop and build something that they can be proud of. To do that.
I love it.
Every day.
I love it, man. Living it big. So Thomas, if we had to, wrap up this interview with the final piece of wisdom for our audience to receive, to execute on, to be their greatest possible self, what would you recommend that be?
Don't settle. Two words mean the world. we talk about this not being your practice life.
Mm.
It really is the one shot that you have at living fulfilled.
Yeah.
Anything that you settle for, anything that the world tells you,
Mm.
this is your obligation, this is what you have to do, and you don't want to do it,
Mm.
because life is so much more beautiful on your terms.
Mm.
It's so much more fulfilling. It's so much more impact that you can have, positive impact that you have in other people's lives, because you're a unique being. And you being unique, the motto for our company is life is yours.
Mm.
We're here.
Mm.
So it's a constant reminder that this is your life. We're helping you cultivate and harvest and even sow great things that can be taken from it. But the last thing that we want to do is how to live it.
Mm.
We want to bring you peace by helping to show you that there's a lot of things that you've been taught already that are bringing you stress and misery and depression. The opioid crisis in America. There's an obesity crisis in America. There's a depression pill crisis in America. There's all these crises in the wealthiest country in the world. And if we're real about it, we peel back the layers, because a lot of people are settling for lives that they don't truly want. And once you settle into something that you don't want, your anxieties, your insecurities, all this other gunk, it manifests in other unhealthy ways. Yeah. Don't settle. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. We started off with self-love. We started off talking about how do you love yourself. This is your time. Life is your time. Enjoy it.
100%, Thomas. This is gold, man. Our audience wants to know, how do they stay connected with you? How do they take the next steps?
So IG is big nowadays. I just heard your last interviewee say IG. I'll start there first, at Thomas J. Bean on Instagram, Thomas Johnson Bean on Facebook, but also website is www.L.I.F.E.I1.com. Life Changers Bank is where you can get some of our life apparel. You can also download our books there. And the Life Group, CLT, so the Life Group Charlotte, is where you can also see us on Instagram and on Facebook. So we have a lot of handles, but if you go to Thomas J. Bean on Instagram, you'll find everything.
So incredible, man. I love what you're doing. I really acknowledge you for the movement that you're building, raising the bar, raising the standards, teaching people about the basics, the fundamentals to really living a great life, to leave a legacy, to become financially educated and understand how do they have that entrepreneurial mindset? How do they show up in the world that is in integrity, that's in a character that they want to impart that onto the people around them. I see you being that, Thomas, and it's absolutely inspiring. I really acknowledge you for your development of yourself.
Glad to connect with you, man. Like your peoples and what you're doing here every Wednesday, and people that you are fellowshipping with, it matters so much, that good energy. So go on, man. I'll be watching.
Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care, man.